It could be your mother, your brother, your partner, a grandparent, or a sibling. You know them and I know them. It's those super clean, super tidy people. What are their secrets? You see, I wasn't born that way, and maybe you weren't either. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you 16 secrets we can steal from these super clean people so that we can live in a clean home too. And just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel and give this video a thumbs up if you want to be one of those super clean people, or if you know one of those super clean people. Over at Makers Clean, we are preparing for our annual Black Friday sale, and this is the time of year where our prices are the absolute lowest. Not only are we making room for some new products in 2025, but like every other retailer on the planet, we love a good Black Friday deal. So that's why we're making this our biggest one of 2024. If you haven't done so already, go on over to Makers Clean, fill up your cart, and check out all of the deep discounts that we have. Happy Black Friday and happy shopping. First up, super clean people know that they have to clean high touch surfaces or points of contact. Now, this is something that I want to say has been talked about a lot ever since COVID-19, but I've been talking about it for a long time because I own a cleaning company, and this is something that picky clients would often talk to me about. It's those door handles, light switch plates, areas along the walls. People run their hands and fingerprints on certain places over and over and over again. Now, if this is a point of contact where you worry about germ transfer, you can use a disinfectant, but if it's just some schmutz on the wall that you see repeatedly, you can use all-purpose cleaner and a microfiber cloth. Now this one's a real conversation starter. Do you or do you not take your shoes off when you walk into your home or someone else's home? Actually, let me know in the comments below what your take on this is. But if you wear outdoor shoes inside your house, you're tracking dirt inside. You're making your floors dirtier. You're contributing to dust and indoor air pollution. So, super clean people know that they have to leave their shoes at the door, and they may or may not put indoor shoes on. Super clean people use cleaning tools that they love. Would you choose to use a cleaning tool that you hate, that frustrates you, that sucks? Each and every day, every single time you have to clean, you wouldn't. It's just like you wouldn't take the bad pair of underwear from the underwear drawer. You're always gonna take your favorite and leave the bad pair for the day that you have food poisoning. So it's the same with cleaning tools. If you wanna lean into cleaning, I can't even use the word love, but if you wanna lean in to getting a little bit better at cleaning, to be a little cleaner in your life, choose cleaning tools that you actually like to use, dare I say love, because that will make the task so much easier and very likely more efficient. Great example, the Maker's Mop. If you have a crappy, crummy mop that makes you work harder, or that doesn't get your floors clean, or that leaves a lot of moisture and streaking behind, that would make mopping really miserable. If you use the Maker's Mop as an example, a totally biased one, you're gonna get great results. So it's fair to say that you would actually enjoy the process of mopping. If you've ever been in the kitchen with a super tidy person while they are cooking, you'll probably notice that they clean as they cook. They start with an empty dishwasher. That way, as they use things, they can put dirty items into the dishwasher. If they don't have a dishwasher, they'll hand wash as they go. They're not gonna let things pile up on the counter. They work step by step, and they sort of tidy each step before they carry on. And it's not that you have to pause and take 10 minutes and do something and then continue on. Cooking is a very fast action. So tidying or cleaning as you cook can just be part of the routine. And as someone who formerly left a giant mess when they were cooking and now cleans as I go, I can tell you, it's a huge difference, and it makes kitchen cleanup after a meal so much easier. Now, if your home, like mine, doesn't come with an appliance garage, trust me, it's on my vision board. One of the things you can do to keep your countertops nice and clean between small appliance use is tuck them away somewhere. Now, you might not have a ton of room in your kitchen. Maybe it means you have to take that small appliance to another part of the house. And I know it's extra work and it's a little bit annoying, but here's the thing. If you have your blender, your toaster, your panini press, your coffee maker, your kettle, your waffle maker, and all of those little things sitting on your counter, they take up a ton of space. Now, if there's something that you use every single day, like a coffee maker, leave it on the counter. But if there are more occasional things those are items that you can remove from your counter because it's very easy for a kitchen counter to get cluttered up quickly. And the more cluttered your counter is, the more messy your kitchen will look and feel, and the harder those counters will be to keep clean. Another secret that I have stolen from very clean people, and I am so glad that I have, is loading and running the dishwasher every single night and emptying it first thing in the morning. This has made a huge difference in my day, especially because I work from home. Dishes, plates, cups, it's building up. So if that dishwasher isn't unloaded first thing in the morning, instant bottleneck in the kitchen. Huge mess. When my daughter comes home from school, unpacking her lunch gets messy, making dinner gets messy, I can't clean as I go. It pretty much throws off the whole day. I'm sure you can see where I'm going here. So what I do is unload the dishwasher first thing in the morning while my daughter's eating breakfast, so that by the time she's out the door, my kitchen is ready to go for the day. At the end of the day, I load everything up after dinner, and I put a dish detergent tablet in the dishwasher and I set it to run for 8 p.m., which is when my energy costs drop. That way the dishwasher is done by about 10:30 or 11, and before I go to bed, I open the dishwasher door so that it has time to air dry overnight. Rinse and repeat, quite literally. There was a time where my mom and sister came to my house, opened the fridge, and both looked at me with disgust, and they were like, "What's going on in your fridge over here?" And both of them are very clean, very tidy people and have immaculate refrigerators. I will admit that's one area I really need to improve upon. Super tidy people have very clean and very organized refrigerators. They're constantly culling items that they no longer need, whether it's condiments that they are just over or that are expired, or food like leftovers that are just not going to get eaten, or fruits and vegetables that go bad. They might even get refrigerator organizers to make the space more efficient and to make things more easy to find in there. So if you aspire to be a tidy or clean person, think about organizing and maintaining that fridge. Now I get it. You don't want to have to think about cleaning the whole house before you go to bed, but if you do one thing, just make sure that your kitchen surfaces are clean, counters and kitchen table. It really sucks to wake up to a messy kitchen in the morning. So if you can just take care of those two things, you're gonna be set for a good day. One of the habits of highly effective people, whether or not this one has been written about, is making lists. And that way you know what has to get done instead of having it float around in your head and potentially forgetting it. So if you're a super tidy person and you know that there are cleaning tasks that need to get done, write them on a list. That's what these very tidy people do. And when they have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, and they want to dedicate that to cleaning, they can just refer to the list and strike something off of there. You can do this too. I will admit that I only check my mailbox about twice a week, unless I know a package is coming, in which case I run. I don't love getting the mail because I find it to be a very annoying task. But when I do get the mail, I sit with that stack of mail and I sort through it. I deal with all of the mail right then and there. I recycle what needs to be recycled. I shred what needs to be shredded. I photograph and save to Dropbox what needs to be saved. And then I file anything in a filing cabinet that needs to be filed away, or I'll deal with it if it's a bill, etc. Having mail sit around is not only messy, but it can be concerning because you might miss a bill or a notification that you really need. So one of the habits of super clean people, and this is more about organization than it is cleaning, is that they deal with their mail immediately. They don't let it sit and pile up. And another little bonus tip for you, if you're like me and you don't like junk mail, and let's be honest, who does? You can call your post office and let them know that you no longer want to receive junk mail, and they should be able to put a mark or a sticker on your mailbox indicating that you will no longer be receiving it. A secret that you can steal from super clean people is that they do not let laundry consume or control their lives. In fact, if you walk into one of these people's homes, you won't see piles of laundry that need to be folded, stacks of folded laundry that need to be put away, and piles of dirty laundry that need to be laundered. They have a whole system, and it looks different for every person and every household. The point is, they figured something out that has worked for them. For me, I run anywhere, and I know this is excessive, between 3 and 7 loads of laundry a week. And that's because I've just integrated laundry into my life. If I'm on the phone, I put earbuds in and I'm folding laundry and walking and putting it away while I'm talking to someone, because seeing laundry piles all over the house drives me crazy. Having dirty laundry piled up in baskets drives me nuts. So I've just integrated laundry as a system in my life, and it has worked for me. The point is, you have to find a system that works for you and stick to it so that laundry doesn't get out of control. One of the first habits that parents will try to teach their kids is how to make their bed. Now, of course, they're not going to make their bed like they're preparing for a photo shoot in Architectural Digest. They just need to know how to pull the sheets up and put the pillows up and maybe arrange their stuffed animals. But as we get older, the idea of walking into a room and seeing a beautifully made bed at the end of a long day feels really great. Super clean and super tidy people know that in the morning before they leave, they make their bed, they fluff the pillows, they put out the little decorative blanket, they put in the extra effort, they make things look real nice, and it just feels so much better. For me, honestly, I struggle with making my bed, and I do it about half the time, but when I'm really busy, I let it go by the wayside. The difference is, on the days where I make my bed, I do feel much better when I walk into my room later in the day. So that's a habit that we can steal. Super clean, super tidy people know that different maintenance tasks have to happen throughout the year, whether it's cleaning the windows, cleaning the eaves troughs, doing some really big dusting projects like chandeliers, getting their carpet steam cleaned. They just know how to keep things on a schedule so that the cleaning in the home is moving forward and not staying stagnant. So if you want to adopt that practice, what you can do is get yourself a cleaning checklist, tasks that you have to do throughout the year. And in fact, we have some that I can point you to. I'll link them down below. And you can put some of these items in your calendar just as little reminders. As an example, one of the things that I remind myself to do in my calendar every month is to oil my cutting board. Now, I know this sounds very random, but if I didn't do this, if I didn't remind myself, I would forget. So on the day that I see it pop up in my calendar, it takes me 45 seconds to oil my beautiful wood cutting board, and that thing has lasted me for over 4 years because I've taken care of it. If you live in a house with kids, you know that their messes can become pretty overwhelming and can take over a space pretty quickly. Whether it's building a city out of Lego or spreading out your arts and crafts, kids find all sorts of ways to make little and big messes. But super clean and super tidy people know that they have to keep those kids' messes to a minimum. Whether it's minimizing projects to one at a time, or telling kids that if they take out one toy, they have to put other toys away, or having a cleanup song, or a cleanup period of time, or an allowance. There are tons of different systems and methods that parents can employ. The point is, there's thought behind it. They've thought this out and they've integrated it into their parenting. And what this does is it teaches the kids, we respect our home, we have to take care of our stuff, and a mess is not allowed. And second, it takes the stress off the parents from having to worry about cleaning and tidying up the kids' messes all the time. For people that have pets in their homes, it can go one of two ways. Your house can just be the dog or the cat's house that you live in, or it can be the other way around, and your house won't even look like you have a pet living there. It all comes down to how you care for your pet, and then how in turn you care for your home. Now, those super clean people that we all know, they're vacuuming regularly. They're wiping drool spots off the wall. They're laundering their pet beds and pet blankets. They're airing out their homes, deodorizing. They're changing their furnace filters regularly so that they have clean air flowing through. They're grooming their pets. If you're not brushing your cat or your dog regularly, they're gonna shed more, and that's gonna be all over the place. There are lots of things as pet owners we have to do to keep our homes clean, and that should be part of the decision-making process when you think about getting a pet. If you walk into the bathroom of a super clean, super tidy person, you're probably gonna notice that their shower and their tub looks pristine. No mildew, no mold, no hard watermarks, no soap scum buildup. And there's a really easy way to make this happen for you. I've been preaching this for years, and it's something you can pick up from the dollar store. It's a squeegee, and you need to invest about 60 seconds after a shower to simply squeegee the walls and the floor of the tub or shower that you are in, just to remove any of that excess moisture and soap residue. And what that will do is keep your shower pristine, to the point where you won't even need to clean it that often. And that's a little trick you can steal from those super clean, super tidy people. Their bathrooms always look beautiful. And another thing you can do is turn on your fan while you're showering and leave it on for 30 to 60 minutes afterward to help reduce excess moisture in there. Moisture does make your bathroom grimier quicker. Now, if you're a member of the Clean My Space community, I've got a bonus tip up for you. You'll see the companion video that came out with this one. And if you want to learn more about becoming a member of the Clean My Space community, I've got information in the description box down below. All right, I gave you a buffet of tips here, and you can pick and choose the ones that you like. Add them to your plate. Come back, try another one. Take some to go. Whatever the case is, I assure you that even if you use one of these tips, your home and your habits will start to feel so much better. And that brings me to this week's comment question, which is, what is one habit that you have brought into your life that has made a difference for you? Whether it's cleaning, cooking, or something else. Our comment section is a great place for everyone who loves Clean My Space videos to learn. So please share your great habits in the comments down below. Now, one of those habits I talked about was getting cleaning tools that you love, and I just put this video together. It's called Viral Cleaning Products Exposed, so you can learn all about some of the best out there in this video right here. And a reminder, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the Clean My Space channel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.